Welcome to Unity of Mesa Online. I'm Reverend Kathy Kellogg, and today we're talking about love as a blessing. I'm joined by Reverend Judy Hildebrandt, who will be presenting our Advent lesson, Floyd Land, our meditation leader, and Dennis Hubert, our musician. This is the third Sunday of Advent, and like I said, we're focusing our attention on love. We're looking at love as a blessing and hoping that some ideas today will give you ideas for those perfect gifts for everyone on your Christmas list. Our affirmation is, whoever you are, wherever you may be, I send you a blessing this day. I receive a blessing in return. Will you say that with me? Whoever you are, wherever you may be, I send you a blessing this day. I receive a blessing in return. I invite you now to close your eyes and join in prayer, focusing on the breath, breathing in and exhaling. Then consciously focusing on the breath, moving your attention to the heart, and imagine breathing in and through the heart. The heart is the center where love flows from, where every thought, word, and deed has its beginning. Let us set our attention and intention on the words about love from Pierre Pradervand. Today, in this moment, may my every thought spring from that deep well of love inside me. May my every word be inspired by the tenderness of love. May my every act, every deed be motivated by the fire of love. May I see that everywhere and at all times my neighbor, be it person, plant, or thing, is one with me, and that I am one with it, and that we are all the infinite splendor of Spirit's divine being in disguise. We hold these affirmations for all of us today, those watching now, those that will join in later, those whose names are on our prayer list. We hold these affirmations that love that heals and unites and harmonizes, for our family, our friends, for ourselves, for our neighborhoods, our communities, and the world. We affirm today that love is always present, available, and eager to be expressed to heal, unite, invigorate, and bless all of God's creation. And so it is in our hearts and in our day's experiences and in the world. Amen. And now for Dennis's song.
Feliz Navidad, Feliz Navidad, Feliz Navidad, prospero año y felicidad. Feliz Navidad, Feliz Navidad, Feliz Navidad, prospero año y felicidad. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas from the bottom of my heart. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas from the bottom of my heart. Feliz Navidad, Feliz Navidad, Feliz Navidad, prospero año y felicidad. Feliz Navidad, Feliz Navidad, Feliz Navidad, prospero año y felicidad. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas from the bottom of my heart. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you, Dennis. Well, for starters, you should know that we missed the birthday song last Sunday. So all of you who have December birthdays, if you want to stand up and wave your hands, we would like to sing happy birthday to you. Dennis, will you lead us?
Join me in singing the birthday song.
Happy birthday to you. There's no one like you, uniquely created. I love knowing you. I bless you with life and abundance galore. God bless you, my loved one, and have many more.
Happy birthday, everyone. Check out the Things for You to Know button on our website, unityofmesa.org, on our homepage. There you're going to find information on events, fellowship, classes, prayer support, and more. Today, from 12 to 2, stop by the church for your holiday celebration bag. Just pull up to the front door, stay in your car, stay masked, and we'll run out to your vehicle with your bags filled with a candle for candlelighting service, dissolvable paper for the burning bowl service, and a white stone for, you got it, the white stone ceremony. Grab one for a friend or neighbor and invite them to share our online services also. The drive-thru will be open this Sunday from 12 to 2 and again next Sunday. Candlelight service will premiere online December 23rd at 7 p.m. The burning bowl service will be online at 10:15 on our usual service time, Sunday, December 27th. But also from noon to 2 that day, we will have a burning bowl set up in the parking lot for any of you who want to bring your paper to release and let go. The paper in your bag is dissolvable. You can put it in a bowl of water and let it melt away, or you can come and see it burn in the fire and released. Last summer, a group of our white congregants began a journey in taking the first steps to dismantle racism in our community and in our country through the education and discussion of our Aspiring White Allies program. In February, we're going to start a second session for dismantling racism. In February, also as SEE in the Field, our spiritual education enrichment week-long program. If you'll visit the Things to Know page, you can learn more about and be able to register for both SEE and the White Allies. And now for the offering, this season of giving, isn't it? This is a season for giving. And we are so grateful for all the ways that you give of yourself in the world, through your prayers, your affirmation, letting your light shine, and for giving from your abundance, which includes remembering Unity of Mesa and your year-end giving. You know, our winter and holiday donations have always been essential to balancing out the lighter donations of the summertime, and especially in this year of the pandemic. So we bless you for all of your generosity, for your time, your talent, your treasure, to help support this spiritual, vibrant community. Together we can enlighten, empower, and energize one another to uplift our world into a greater expression of God. If you've never given before, you can go to our website and click the Give Online button. We'll give you different ways on how to give. If you're watching on YouTube, just click the link in the description. And now it's time to take your gift of love in your hands, your heart, your head, and say with me our offering blessing. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, Spirit of Abundance. We are so blessed and so grateful. Now it's time for our Advent lesson with Reverend Judy, followed by our meditation, but with Floyd Land, and then a song with Dennis.
Advent. Today, as we continue the journey to Christmas, we join people around the world who have celebrated Advent for many hundreds of years. Advent is a time of preparation. Our journey, symbolized by the candles on our wreath, represents the birth of the Christ within. We light the third candle today for love. Let us not only light our candles, but light up ourselves. And our reading today is from Luke 2, verses 6 through 7. In those days, Caesar Augustus issued a decree that a census should be taken of the entire Roman world. This was the first census that took place while Quirinius was governor of Syria, and everyone went to their own town to register. So Joseph also went up from the town of Nazareth in Galilee to Judea, to Bethlehem, the town of David, because he belonged to the house and line of David. He went there to register with Mary, who was pledged to be married to him and was expecting a child. While they were there, the time came for the baby to be born, and she gave birth to her firstborn, a son. She wrapped him in cloths and placed him in a manger because there was no guest room available for them. And so now, today, we light the candle for love in the Advent wreath. Mary was visited by an angel who told her she would be the mother of a great leader. She represents the divine mother and unconditional love. Joseph was also visited by an angel who told him that his bride-to-be, Mary, would be carrying the Holy Child, and it was his calling to care for this child. Joseph represents wisdom and using our mind. And when we use love, like Mary, and wisdom, like Joseph, we bring forth miracles, Jesus. The Holy Family of Jesus, Mary, and Joseph loved one another, and their love helped Jesus become a great spiritual leader. The love you have for your family and friends can help them become great too. When we fill our hearts with love and speak words of encouragement and kindness, we create our own holy family. Let your love spread out and light your world. And we have some metaphysical interpretation of this story a little bit. Mary, the mother of Jesus, represents the perfect love that fills your soul. She is the divine feminine in you. It is that within you which desires to see only good come to you and to everyone, every other creature in the universe. It is that in you which never wants to hurt in any way. For this love is open and receptive only to that which is good and true. Mary represents the very gentlest aspect of the love in your heart. Yet this love is strong because all the power of good in the universe is within you and approves of you. It is from this kindness and sweetness of your nature that your understanding of your true self as a child of God will be born. And now Joseph also has a metaphysical meaning. Within each one of us is the strength and wisdom necessary to guide and protect the perfect expression of God's divine love, seeking expression through our soul. The Joseph of you and me is the bearer of this strength and wisdom. Sometimes others will suggest that this love is not good for you, and its expression is making a fool of you. Deep within your soul, you know, once this love is realized, the only true satisfaction in life comes when your mind is one with the love of your heart. Trust the Joseph in you to nourish, comfort, protect, and guide this love and the radiant good that is to come forth from this union.
Good morning. As we prepare for our time of meditation this morning, and you're sitting comfortably in your home, I would like to take you on a brief journey. So now, in preparation for that journey, I would ask that you relax in your chair, get comfortable, close your eyes, and now that you're relaxed and your eyes are gently closed, You're breathing in and out. In and out. Now, let your mind's eye wander with me for a few minutes to a more normal Sunday morning and your arrival at our church. You've just parked your car, you're on your way into the entrance, you've appreciated the plantings and the atmosphere as you step through the doors. And as you're waiting to enter the sanctuary, you may maybe take a turn to the left and browse in our beautiful bookstore. And then as you're welcomed by our greeters and given your bulletin and you begin to make your way down the aisle, you're seeing for some friends that you may have not seen for a few weeks. You actually get a hug or two. And as you find your way to your seat and you get comfortable, you're sensing the familiar sounds of your friends settling in. And then you hear the 3 chimes from the bowl, and you know that we're ready to begin our service. Now, as you look up to the front of the church, you see our beautiful Christmas wreath hanging between our 4 Advent banners. One for hope, the one for peace, one for love, and then the final one for joy. Reverend Judy has just finished the ceremony for lighting the 3rd candle in the Advent wreath, the one for love. And now we will carry that theme into our time of meditation. And for our meditation this morning, I'll be reading from the Daily Word by Reverend Paul Hasselbeck. And then we will enter our time of silent meditation. I am divine love. I am loving. Love is the one innate of our 12 powers. We express love as and in our ability to harmonize, unify, desire, and be loving. Evidence of love fills my senses in the taste and the aroma of my favorite holiday recipes. I hear it in Christmas music sung with joy. I feel love in a friend's caring message. I see love and joy in the festive decorations adorning houses and neighborhoods. I am in awe of the ways friends, family, neighbors surround me at Christmas time. Throughout the year, that loving feeling remains the most beautiful evidence of the power of love in and through all things. I perceive divine love in every person, in all situations. I am divine love. I am loving. And now as you bring your awareness back to the comfort of your own home, we hold our affirmation of the day in our hearts. Whoever you are, wherever you may be, I send you a blessing this day, and I receive a blessing in return. And so it is.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
It's the third week of Advent, and as we move closer to Christmas, I've got to confess that I feel about my Christmas list the same way I felt about trying to come up with another talk about love. What might be new or different or needed? Because every Advent we do a lesson on love, and we do lessons on love all throughout the year. And that's to be expected because love is one of our central teachings. Love, defined in the revealing word as that pure essence of being that binds together the whole human family. It's that great harmonizing principle. It is what Jesus talked about when he talked about the 2 commandments in the chapter 22 of Matthew. Jesus said to him, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind." This is the greatest and first commandment. And a second is like to it, "You shall love your neighbor as yourself." On these 2 commandments hang all the law and the prophets. On these 2 commandments, all about love, hang all the laws and the prophets. When we talk about you shall love the Lord your God, we're not talking about a person, but a principle of unconditional love that upholds the whole universe, that absolute good. So you shall honor that absolute good with all your heart and all your soul and all your mind. And then love your neighbor as yourself. Love that inner quality that sees good everywhere and in everyone. And it insists that all is good. And by refusing to see anything but good, it brings it into manifestation. It's part of our divine nature. And, truly, as we finish the year of 2020, I think we can all agree that we need more love expressed in our lives and in the world. But how do we do that? How do we change the institutions that we rail against? Pierre Pradervand wrote that it is useless to attempt to transform social, political, and economic structures if we do not also transform people's hearts. That's where the transformation starts, and makes its greatest impact, if we transform our own hearts. And so we'll sit in our chairs and say, yes, we know that, but what do you do? How do you do it? How do you transform a person's heart? Well, a couple of weeks ago, I was introduced to a book called The Gentle Art of Blessing by Pierre Pradervand. He's a Swiss writer, speaker, who has spent most of his life working for social justice. He's lived or visited in 40 countries in all the different continents. But he wrote an essay on the gentle art of blessing, and it was posted on Facebook. And when I read it, I was moved by its simplicity and the inspiration for using blessing as a spiritual practice. And then I knew that I wanted to share. So how did it all start? Well, Pierre Pradervand was employed in the field of international development, working in the Swiss school system. And he encountered a difficult decision. He could keep his job and accept a situation that violated the most basic professional ethics, or he could quit. And so he quit. But not really, because in the weeks that followed, he developed a deep-seated, all-consuming resentment against the people who had put him in that impossible situation. Has that ever happened to you? Faced a challenge in a situation and then holding on to resentment for those people who put you into it? But one day he became aware of what he was doing, that he was going through his day holding this resentment and continuing to feed the fire. And it was robbing him of his peace and his energy. And even though he was participating in meditation and prayer and spiritual study, none of that seemed to help. Until one day, he was reading from Jesus' Sermon on the Mount, and he read, "Bless those who curse you." And he said it was like waking up and realizing, instead of feeding the fire of resentment, that he was to bless those who had persecuted him. And to bless them in every way imaginable, to bless them in their health and their joy, their finances, their work, their relationships. And he said, so what is a blessing? He said, wishing or affirming from the bottom of your heart, in total sincerity, the very best for that person, complete fulfillment and deepest happiness. He said, first it was a conscious decision, activated by his will, but it was sincere spiritual intention to heal his own thinking. And what he found is that by consistently practicing, not only did he release the resentment and release those people to go on their way and restore him of his energy and peace, but he found out that he was beginning to bless people who crossed his path in his daily experiences. And he found it to be one of the most efficient ways of staying spiritually centered and to free his thoughts from negativity, criticism, and judgment by replacing them with a universal, unconditional love. He said, and what was the most amazing thing is that he was blessing others. The blessings came back to him in return. Not from the same people, but in different ways. His life was blessed and made smoother and more glorious. One of the examples was that he was putting together a benefit concert for the World Food Day. And this Afro-Caribbean orchestra volunteered to play free of charge. And there were 10 members of it. And so 2 hours before the show, they came to the concert hall and were ready to set up. But the sound tech that was employed by the concert hall, for some reason, was feeling a lot of hostility towards this group of people and Pierre. And 2 hours before the show, went on stage and removed all the mics except for 2. So the co-manager with Pierre, he was going, went to confront the guy saying, we've got all these people on stage. We can't do that with 2 mics. Pierre said, I just stopped and realized that I needed to bless him, to bless the highest and the best. And as he started blessing him in every imaginable way, the guy turned around and smiled. And his whole attitude changed. He went and got the mics, recommended how to set them up, and wished them for a happy event. What a blessing. What a blessing. Another example was that Pierre was finishing a book and it needed to find a publisher for it. And he met a gentleman one day who had a friend in the publishing business in France. And he volunteered to get the manuscript to the publisher when Pierre was finished writing. So when Pierre finished writing the book, he contacted the gentleman and said, it's ready to go to a publisher. He said, and I'll have my agent. And the minute he said book agent, the gentleman on the other side of the phone got so angry and slammed it down. Pierre said, I don't know what bothered him. Maybe he had a bad experience with book agents who he didn't know. But he just began to start blessing him in every imaginable way. 10 days later, the gentleman calls Pierre back and acts as if nothing has happened. So send me the manuscript. I'll get it to the publisher. And what happened was that the book then was immediately accepted for publication by an excellent publisher. That blessing that opened up and allowed the hearts to be in a better space. He says, when you bless all you meet in their total happiness and true integrity, without the slightest concern for their appearance, their expression, their race, their class, their sex, or any other label, when you wish them the very best from your innermost being, it is impossible for your heart not to expand. And when your heart expands, you have a truer and a greater expression of the Christ within, the Christ that is you. Now, the history of blessing, it's an ancient practice, and it's found in almost all cultures, predicated on the understanding that there exists a universal power, a principle of harmony governing all things. It implies that sense of sacred, of that hidden abundance available to those who will open to it. It is about understanding that we live in harmony with fundamental laws of the universe, which we would call truth principles. And it resonates with us because the art of blessing it grounds itself on the universal principles that, number one, thought and body cannot be separated, The thought and the body cannot be separated. So what we think affects our body and affects that energy around us, because everything in the universe is energy. And when we change the energy of our thoughts, we change that energy that surrounds us. It is predicated on the law of positive expectations. Ask and you shall receive. The law of right returns, what you sow, you shall reap. The law of unconditional love, assuring us that no matter how difficult the challenge, if we persevere, we shall win. It is that when we claim qualities in another, we are claiming those qualities for ourselves. And of course, that the only punishment we experience is self-imposed suffering from neglecting the spiritual laws that exist solely for our happiness and freedom. And so the blessing is part of that spiritual practice of centering ourselves, of staying centered in that universal law of love, unconditional love, that is the heart and center of all creation. So how do you put together a blessing? Well, there's no formula. There's no strict formula. It just requires a joyful attitude of the heart. A need to be sincere, that you put in motion that power that transforms and heals, that elevates and restores. And we put our ego to service of the greater good, right? So we don't bless another one with an act of will, of trying to manipulate our good. I need this in my life, so I'll bless another person for it. No, it's that unconditional love for another person, wanting that complete fulfillment, that perfect happiness for them. And then our good is what comes to us from that, not that we create it. We bless because we want to understand. No, we bless from our understanding. We bless from our understanding and are rejoicing that the being we are blessing is in a state of grace, of total freedom and innocence in front of its creator. Now, you might find it might be a little difficult to bless those that you've held long time resentments for. And the thing is that when you hold those resentments, it affects your energy and your peace. And so we want to go to center to heal that, to free ourselves from it as we free another person from it. And so when you find it difficult, the recommendation is to find a quiet place to be alone, to go to center and ask what lesson is to be learned from this. Because every challenge that comes to us is an opportunity and supports us in learning to have a greater expression of self, a greater expression of being. Dr. Gerald Jampolsky, who's the founder of the Center for Attitudinal Healing and the author of Love is Letting Go of Fear, wrote that every time I go to my center, it is to heal myself. It is to heal ourselves, that spiritual practice, to stay centered, to reduce, to relieve ourselves, to get rid of the negativity and the constricted energy, and to open ourselves up into that universal, unconditional love, which then affects everything around us. David Spangler, in his book, Blessing, the Art and the Practice, wrote that blessing is not a technique we perform, but a presence we embody. It is not an act we do to someone or something, but a relationship we form with them that enables us all to be embraced in the presence of an unobstructed world. Gerald Jampolsky wrote, let us learn to see our neighbor, in our neighbor, the light, rather than the lampshade, to see who they are at the center of their being, that divine being, to call that forth in the blessing and not to be set off by outer appearances. So an example of that would be, if you feel that the media is doing a poor job of reporting, then bless them in their truthfulness and their honesty rather than downgrading their bias. Call forth the truth of their being, their honesty and truthfulness. Call that forth, those qualities, instead of getting hung up on the bias. If someone looks angry, bless them in their peace and their capacity to forgive. All right, to affirm that truth of who they are, because blessing is a spiritual practice. Each of us has exactly the same value and dignity as every single other person. Each one of us is absolutely unique in time, space, and eternity. Each of us has a unique role to play, our own special gift to make to the world. And in all of this, don't forget to bless yourself, straightforward. Bless yourself for your uniqueness, that you're wonderful, you're amazing, you are a gift to the planet. One way to bless would be namaste. I bless you, I love you in your divine perfection and total happiness. To close up, I want to read a little bit of Pierre's The Gentle Art of Blessing. You can find it on his website. And the book, you can go to our website and order the book through Smile Amazon. It's a brilliant piece in its simplicity and its inspiration as a spiritual practice that anyone can do. And it makes a difference in your life, in the lives of others, and in the world. Pierre Pradervand wrote, on awakening, bless this day, for it is already full of unseen good which your blessings will call forth. For to bless is to acknowledge the unlimited good that is embedded in the very texture of the universe and awaiting each and all. Take a breath. On awakening, bless this day, for it is already full of unseen good which your blessings will call forth. On passing people in the street and on the bus and places of work and play, bless them. The peace of your blessing will accompany them on their way, and the aura of its gentle fragrance will be a light to their path. On meeting and talking to people, bless them in their health, their work, their joy, their relationships to God, themselves, and others. Bless them in their abundance, their finances. Bless them in every conceivable way. For such blessings not only sow seeds of healing, but one day will spring forth as flowers of joy in the waste places of your own life. To bless means to wish unconditionally, total, unrestricted good for others and events from the deepest wellspring in the innermost chamber of your heart. It means to hallow, to hold in reverence, to behold with utter awe that which is always a gift from the Creator. He who is hallowed by your blessing is set aside, consecrated, holy, whole. To bless is yet to invoke divine care upon, to think or to speak gratefully for, to confer happiness upon, although we ourselves are never the bestower, but simply the joyful witnesses of life's abundance. So on your Christmas list this year, who is it that you wish to bless? Searching within your heart and cleaning that chamber up. Blessing those with complete abandon for complete happiness and that total perfection of who they are. The list will never end because the blessings will always continue. You might think about putting that on your list, about a spiritual practice of unconditional universal love. Whoever you are, wherever you may be, I send you blessing this day. Blessing.
The season for caring is here. The reason for sharing is clear. We're blessed so abundantly. We bless souls accordingly in faith, trusting their sufficiency today. The spirit of joy is all around. Our hearts filled with cheer and peace abounds. We're all giving selflessly, helping with humility and grace. Compassion for the whole human race. Christmas is love, if it's anything. The gift of a child, the hope that it brings, the promise of light for each day. Guidance to show us our way. The presence of God in our midst. Christmas is love. We know when we give, we receive. We see what we truly believe. Let's imagine something wonderful, envision something magical we share, creating our reality with care. Christmas is love, if it's anything. The gift of a child, the hope that it brings, the promise of light for each day. The guidance to show us our way. The presence of God in our midst. Christmas is love. Sometimes it's hard to be loving. Sometimes we listen to fear. If we all can remember the reason the Spirit may last through the year. Christmas is love, if it's anything. The gift of a child, the hope that it brings, the promise of light for each day. The guidance to show us our way. The presence of God in our midst. Christmas is love. The presence of God in our midst. Christmas is love.
Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Judy. Thank you, Floyd. Thank all of you for being willing to be the light and the love of this holiday season, for being the blessing by affirming love in all that you think, you do, and you say. Remembering that whoever you are, wherever you may be, I send you a blessing this day. Come by the church today from 12 to 2 and receive your blessing in the form of a celebration holiday bag. We'll be here waiting for you. Let's close now this morning with our affirmative prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds me. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds me. I am the love of God. The power of God protects me. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over me. I am the presence of God. Wherever I am, God is. Wherever we are, God is. Blessings.